Welcome to Quote Nurture, the place where we explore the fascinating world of psychology through simple and understandable insights. Here, we delve deep into the caverns of the human mind, navigating its complex intricacies with a purpose to enlighten, engage, and inspire. In our journey together, we'll uncover truths, debunk myths, and perhaps even discover something new about ourselves. So, get ready for an enlightening exploration. Today we dive into a topic that has intrigued many: why someone is always on your mind. Ever wondered why you can't stop thinking about a particular person? Welcome to the captivating world of our mind's fascination. It's a place where the everyday becomes extraordinary, the familiar becomes mysterious, and the mundane becomes mesmerizing. Here's a thought: our minds love puzzles. And what's a more complex puzzle than another human being? The thoughts, the emotions, the behaviors, all these layers add up to a mystery our minds find irresistible. This is one of the primary reasons why we often find ourselves thinking about a particular person over and over again. Let's delve a bit deeper. Ever heard of obsessive thinking? Obsessive thinking, as the name suggests, is when our mind is so engrossed with a particular thought or idea that it becomes difficult to think about anything else. It's like a song stuck on repeat, except the song is a person. Now don't get alarmed. Obsessive thinking isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a natural part of the human experience. It's our mind's way of dealing with uncertainty, of making sense of the world around us. It's our mind's way of trying to solve the puzzle. However, the more complex the puzzle, the more our mind is drawn to it. And what's more complex than human relationships? The emotions, the dynamics, the unsaid words, all these elements make relationships an irresistible enigma for our minds. So, when we find ourselves unable to stop thinking about someone, it's not just about them, it's about us too. It's about our mind's natural curiosity, its love for puzzles, its need for understanding. It's a testament to our mind's incredible capacity for thought, for emotion, for connection. And just like that, a simple thought becomes a journey into the depths of our mind, into the heart of our fascination, a journey that's as captivating as it is enlightening. It's fascinating, isn't it? How our minds can become so fixated on one person. But remember, our minds are just as fascinated with the world around us, with the mysteries it holds, with the puzzles it presents. So, here's to our mind's fascination, to the journeys it takes us on, and to the puzzles it helps us solve. But it's not just our thoughts that play a role. Our emotions have a big part too. You see, emotions are powerful forces that can significantly amplify our thinking patterns. Take love, for instance. When we love someone, our minds often gravitate towards thoughts of that person, leading to them being always on our mind. In the same vein, strong negative emotions, such as anger or fear, can also intensify our thoughts about someone. Ever noticed how you might keep ruminating about someone who has wronged you or caused you distress? That's your emotions at work, amplifying your thoughts about the individual. But why does this happen? Well, it has to do with the way our brains are wired. Emotions, particularly strong ones, are linked to our survival instincts. They serve as signals, alerting us to pay attention to situations or people that could potentially affect our well-being. When we experience strong emotional connections with someone, our brain recognizes that person as significant. As a result, our thoughts naturally gravitate towards that individual more frequently. It's our brain's way of saying, "Hey, this person is important. Let's keep them on our radar." Moreover, when we engage in emotional thinking, whether positive or negative, it creates a feedback loop. The more we think about someone, the stronger our emotional connection becomes, which in turn leads to more thoughts about them. This cycle can result in someone constantly occupying our thoughts. Now, it's important to remember that emotions aren't inherently bad. They're a natural part of our human experience. However, understanding their role in our thought processes can help us gain better control over our minds. It can help us recognize when our thoughts are being fueled by intense emotions and when it might be beneficial to intervene. So, strong emotions make these thoughts more frequent and intense, but what else contributes? Let's continue exploring this intriguing phenomenon in the next scene. Another key factor is the concept of unfinished business. This notion is rooted in the idea that unresolved issues or unexpressed feelings can cause someone to linger in our thoughts. It's like a song that's stuck on replay in your mind, the melody echoing over and over until you're almost driven to distraction. Now let's delve a bit deeper into this unfinished business. Imagine, if you will, a story left untold, a question left unanswered, or a feeling left unexplored. These are all examples of unfinished business. They're things that, for one reason or another, we've left incomplete. Interestingly, our brains have a natural tendency to seek completion and resolution. This cognitive process, known as the Zeigarnik effect, explains why uncompleted or interrupted tasks are remembered better than completed ones. Essentially, our brains are wired to finish what we've started. They crave the satisfaction of completion, the resolution of the story, the answer to the question, the expression of the feeling. Now let's examine the concept of closure. Closure is essentially the emotional finishing up or resolution of a significant event in our lives. It's the point where we can say, okay, this chapter is finished, and I'm ready to move on. But what happens when we don't get that closure? Without closure, we're left with unanswered questions, unexpressed feelings, and unresolved issues. These unfinished tasks can consume our thoughts, causing us to ruminate and preventing us from moving forward. However, understanding this can be our first step towards resolution. It's essential to acknowledge these unresolved issues and work through them. We may not always get the closure we desire from external sources, but we can create our own closure internally by processing our feelings, accepting the situation, and making peace with it. In the end, it's our ability to resolve these unfinished tasks that determines how much they preoccupy our minds. Unresolved issues can indeed tie us to the past, but understanding this can help us move forward. Lastly, let's not forget the power of habit. Our brains are brilliantly designed machines that take in and process a vast amount of information every second. And to manage this, our minds often rely on patterns or habits. This is particularly true when it comes to our thoughts. Imagine our brain as a dense forest. Each thought we have is like a trekker blazing a trail. The more we think a thought, the more trodden and defined that path becomes, making it easier to travel. These paths are our neural pathways, and they're responsible for the automatic thoughts and reactions we have. So when we find ourselves constantly thinking about someone, it may be because we've established a habit of thought around them. It's like we've created a well-worn path in our neural forest that leads directly to them. This can happen for many reasons, from deep emotional connections to unresolved issues. But here's the interesting part. Just as a trekker can choose a new route, we can consciously decide to create new thought patterns. It might be challenging initially, but with time and persistence, we can establish new neural pathways. Our minds are creatures of habit, falling into patterns that can be hard to break. But remember, we are the architects of our own mindscape. We can choose our thoughts, and in doing so, we can change our habits and ultimately, our lives. So there you have it. Some insights into why someone might always be on your mind. We've explored our mind's fascinating ability to latch onto thoughts, the significant role emotions play in our mental landscape, the concept of unfinished business, and how the power of habit can keep someone in our thoughts. As we navigate our lives, it's important to remember that our minds are intricate and complex. They're shaped by a multitude of factors, some within our control and others not. But understanding these factors can help us make sense of our thoughts and feelings. So the next time you find yourself constantly thinking of someone, take a moment to reflect. Could it be your emotions at play, or perhaps some unfinished business? Maybe it's a habit you've cultivated over time. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting psychological insights. Until next time, keep nurturing your mind. Ring.